Well, last week, Romeo comes up to me. I hear that people are laughing already. You must know Romeo. One of the members of our church, Romeo, comes up to me and he says, "Hey, next week, Sunday, is close to Halloween. So let's have people dress up in costumes." Okay. Immediately, a few things went through my head. One was, this is probably a terrible decision. Because knowing people, especially religious people, which we don't have any here, right? Oops. It's very likely that might offend someone. Because people have strong opinions when it comes to God and how to dress. And so I was thinking, yeah, someone's going to come as some costume. I was really happy we didn't have any Trumps or Hillarys. Someone suggested me being Trump. And then I thought, what was it going to be like if I come as Trump and give a sermon as Trump? Can you imagine a Trump mask on me right now giving a sermon? That would offend everyone. That would offend myself. Okay? That would, people that love Trump would be offended because they think I'm making fun of them. People that hate Trump would be offended because I was coming as Trump and they don't want to hear Trump preach the gospel. So, I'm not Trump. But I knew immediately when that question was asked of whether we should, wear costumes or not, I had to say yes. I had to say yes. Because we decided before we even started this service, when we were just praying about what was going to happen, before we ended up being in Dr. Dan's little back room, which is where this church actually started, where they could only fit about 20 people if you crammed, before we were even there, we decided something. We wanted it to be part of our DNA that there was no prerequisite to coming to our service or being welcomed or being loved by God. Because there's no prerequisite to coming to a relationship with God. And so we decided from that time period that we wanted to have a church that no matter how someone dressed, they were going to be loved and welcomed and no one was going to look down on them. If someone came in t-shirts and shorts, great. Hopefully it's because they know God is approachable. They know God wants them just as they are, and they can come without any mask on whatsoever. Some people have masks on today, but that's a different story. Not that kind of mask, okay? But you can come and just be real before God. You don't have to put on any airs. You don't have to put any pretense on with God. Some people might want to come to church in a three-piece suit. Great. Fine. Hopefully that's because you know God is an awesome God. And you're not trying to impress people or God because you know you can't, but you just want to be able to show in your way as an act of worship. And that's what it is for some people to dress up for Sunday. It's an act of worship unto God. And so they come dressed super fancy. We don't have a lot of these people, but they come dressed super fancy to show I honor God. And I want to dress up to express that. Great, perfect, wonderful. If you come in a big bunny rabbit suit, closest to my mom with her ears, it's a little harder to know what you're thinking there, but great, okay? Maybe you want to know that life is fun, it's a temporary gift, and we should use it and have a full life and live abundantly. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Now, all of those things can have a negative attached, right? All of those things could come from a negative place. Like I mentioned with the dressing up in a three-piece suit. You could do this because you want to look good and have other people think you're very successful. And we did a Gospel Minute on that this week where I talked about on my Facebook page where the Gospel Minutes are. So a little plug there. But if there's a video about me in this suit and talking about how much it can cover up. And sometimes that's why people dress up. To cover up who they really are. Sometimes people might come in a shirt and a shorts because they don't really care. Which if it's just about the way they dress, I'm okay with that. But if it's about church, God, everything in general, well, they're missing out. Because there's something really awesome here to really care about. And I really care about everything that happens here. If it's wearing a costume because you want to make a joke of things, okay, I can see it can be negative. Here's the problem though. I don't know. Because I can only see with these things. And they don't go all the way to here. And when I can't see your heart, and I don't know why you're doing the things that you're doing, I can't judge you. Which is too bad for me. Because we as people love to judge people and jump to assumptions about what they're doing. So we decided when we started this little community that we wanted to make sure that we had a place where people could wear anything. So when he asked me, what do you think about people wearing costumes? I'm for it. What do you think about people not wearing costumes? I'm for it. Whatever you want to wear, I'm for it. Okay? Just come. Come as you are, come as you want, and come hopefully with your heart in the right place. With that said, when that was out of the way, probably going to be a bad decision, but the only decision I probably can make, the next question came to my head. It's the same question many women ask themselves, or the Grinch who stole Christmas asks himself. But what would I wear? So I'm thinking through the costumes, and I come up with a great plan. I'm going to be Robin Hood. I've already had a facial hair. Really, I could be any character that Errol Flynn ever played. Just, right there. Pirate, done. Robin Hood, done. Anything, done. Okay? Gallant, chivalrous, not so mean, but I've got the facial hair for it. But then I was preparing the sermon, and I got an idea. The problem was, I got the idea a little too late. So I didn't have time to go to the thrift store and really find a good costume for it. So I got this instead, which is mostly from my dad's. That's why it looks so good. If it was my closet, it wouldn't look as good as this. But I look more like a mafia gangster than who I'm supposed to look like. But what I want to look like today is I want something that really fit with the sermon today. So the character that I dressed up with is one of my favorite characters of all time. From one of my favorite actors of all time. It's Jimmy Stewart in the movie Harvey, Elwood P. Down. Summer. I love the kind of not, because most of us don't know that movie, which is fine. That's okay. If you stay around long enough, you'll know the movie and you'll know Jimmy Stewart too well, because he's my favorite actor of all time. Because Jimmy Stewart had this energy about him. Now, the things that I realize today I love about Jimmy Stewart are the things that I am working on in myself. Because Jimmy Stewart has some things that I don't naturally have. Now, some of them I don't have much hope of ever getting, and I'm aware of that, so I'm not even trying. Like, Jimmy Stewart is very refined. I'm about as refined as the gum on the bottom of a nice shoe. So that's probably not going to happen. Jimmy Stewart is elegant. I'm not really so elegant. But what Jimmy Stewart has, I also don't have, but I'm working on it, is this optimism. Even in difficult situations, and if you watch his movies, he goes through a lot of difficult situations, but he keeps this kind of optimism. There's a movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Has anybody seen It's a Wonderful Life? Okay, I'm looking at everyone who didn't raise their hand, and I'm marking you in my head as someone who has an assignment this Christmas season. That was a trick, reverse thing, but I was watching. Most of you have, so that's good. But you gotta watch It's a Wonderful Life. In the movie, he's suicidal, and yet still is somewhat optimistic. There's this weird thing about him that there's this soul that it's he's about to kill himself, but he still seems kind of happy. This is best described from another Jimmy who's famous. It's actually usually Jim, we call him Jim Carrey, who described Jimmy Stewart like this. What? Hey, everybody! Looks like we're going to have ourselves a Holocaust. Isn't it wonderful? Yeah. Go on, everybody. Let's go over the window. Oh, look. There's a mushroom cloud. Isn't it wonderful? there's something so colorful and so beautiful. You just melt your face right off. That's how you can imagine Jimmy Stewart if there was a nuclear holocaust. It would just be that cheerful in how he does it. And this is most expressed in the movie Harvey. In the movie Harvey, he is this character that is this wonderful guy who goes around making friends everywhere he goes. And he has this delightful energy about him. Every person he meets, he immediately wants to know about them, wants to be close to them, and wants to have them become his family. Yet, he has a problem. The problem is his best friend is one of those guys that just nobody seems to get. Does anybody have one of those friends that nobody seems to get, your friend? You know, you wish you love him, but nobody else seems to love him as much as you do? Yeah. Hey, I'm your friend. Well, this is worse because this friend happens to be an invisible 6-foot white rabbit. And so because this 6-foot invisible white rabbit is going introducing and nobody wants to talk to an invisible rabbit, people are a little bit awkward around him. See, Elwood P. Dowd is not a perfect character. He is probably insane, and he is a little bit of a, is it a louse? Is that what you call it? Is it the slang term? When you drink too much? Loose? Lust! He's a little bit of a lust. I don't know, really. Louse, loose, lust. He's loose with his lustness. Okay? He drinks too much. But the reason why I love him is because of that optimism he has and that welcoming aspect of him. He's someone who's so hospitable. And since today, Kate and I are opening up our home to anyone who wants to come after the service, to have some hot dogs, hamburgers, and whatever, I figured this is a good week to talk about how unhospitable I am. In case you guys show up and expect me to be hospitable. I'm not very hospitable. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at figuring out how to make people welcome. I'm not good at trying to, even that interpersonal relationship thing, like I love people, but there's always been from like the time I was a little kid this kind of disconnect with people when I first meet them because they're not awkward and I am, and sometimes they don't get the awkward people. You got along with me great right away, you know, but the not awkward people are like, what is wrong with this guy? I don't know why, but I've always had that kind of energy. So when I look at Elwood P. Dowd, I think I want to be more like this guy. One of the things Elwood P. Dowd would do is every time he met a person for the first time, he'd give them his card. And he'd say, oh, here's my card. All right? And he'd say, we're going to have some friends over Thursday evening. It doesn't matter what, there weren't any friends yet. But he'd just say, Thursday evening, over at my house, come, you know, we'd love to have you over. And he'd just do this to every person that he met. Which meant he probably never had a Thursday evening, I don't remember if it was Thursday, it wasn't a certain evening, but that he was dining alone. Because certainly somebody took him up on that offer every single week. And he ended up getting to know all these new people because of that. The other thing that he did that I love is he went into bars. And I happen to go into bars a lot as a pastor. And get asked this question all the time, what are you doing here? And I just say I'm hanging out with my 6-foot invisible white rabbit. What do you think? No, but this is the movie that has the best explanation for why I go to bars. Because his explanation for why he goes to bars perfectly fits with mine, minus the 6-foot white rabbit and adding in Jesus. But he says that when you go to a bar, people tell you things. And there's been people tell you all the terrible things that they've done and all the wonderful things that they're going to do. And it's all so grand. Because no one ever brings anything small into a bar. And then I introduce them to Harvey. And it's bigger and grander than anything they offer me. And I think that's such a great sentiment. I'll replace it with Jesus. But I go into a bar and people talk to me. You notice that people don't talk to strangers anymore? Except for in bars. Now there's a few other places. If you go to like a community event of like a Little League thing or something like that, but if there's not some hobby that's meant to have people meet each other, it seems like people don't talk anymore. But I go into the bar and I start talking to people. And they start sharing with me these terrible things that they've done. And these wonderful things that they're going to do. And it's all so grand. But then I introduce them to Jesus. And he's grander than anything they offer me. This one time I came into a bar and this guy saw me, and I was wearing a collar at the time. A pastor's collar, not a regular collar. And the guy came up to me, he said, "Are you a pastor?" "Yes, I am." "Cool." "Great. Can I tell you my life story?" Those were the exact words he said to me. That was it. And then that was our entire conversation, because I said no and walked away. No, I'm just saying. I said, "Of course. I would love to hear it." And then he just started to go into his life story. And he wasn't drunk yet. That was later. But now he was pretty sober. And he just went into his life story. And he talked about all the things that he had done. And it was all these horrible things that he shared with me for the first time that we met. That he had done. And these regrets that he had in his life. But then he shared with me the things that were most valuable in his life. He was having his wife that he was mostly talking about that was the most valuable thing in his life. And he was talking about what he hopes to do and the man he hopes to be. And I just thought, what a privilege it is to immediately be able to hear this guy's story just because I showed up and I wanted to talk to him and was willing to listen. And certainly, over time, we end up becoming closer and closer. And some of the people here are here because of that. Because that was how they met me. And that's how we became friends. Now, I am not great at meeting strangers. I just care a lot. See, there are some people that are really good at knowing how to talk to people. For the first time people meet them, they know they're likable, and they want to get to know them. There are some people that are so good at explaining who Jesus is to people in a way that people immediately go, "I want some of that." There are other people that are good at yelling at people and they run away and then feel better that they did that, like they checked some box off their list. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Hopefully not. But you know those people that are going around in the community and they're saying, "I'm doing God's work." God, they usually say, God's work. I'm doing God's work. They talk normally the rest of the time. They don't have an accent. Except for the word God. That's it. I'm doing the work of God. Where did that come from? Did you like burp there? I don't understand. But that's what they do. And then you're going to hell. Okay, I guess that one has an accent too. Hell and God. Those two things that have an accent. Everything else is totally monotone. Hell! And then you're going to either God or you're going to hell. And that's what it is. And then they go around telling people this. And here's the question that I ask the people that I meet that are like this. Who does that work for? Because I'm against the strategy even if it worked. But after talking to a bunch of them, nobody. They just say, you know what they say? They don't say no. They say, well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it works or not. Because I'm just doing what God said. Well, you and I have different interpretations of what God said here. Because I think that there's only a couple examples of Jesus actually going out and doing outreach. And those things all follow a similar pattern. We'll talk about a few of them. One, he sent all of his followers out 2 by 2 to go out in the community and to share a specific word with people. Does anyone know what that word is? Anyone want to show off? Do they know stuff? Is it hate? Peace. Go and share peace with people. Not go and share warning, not judgment, not wrath, but peace. And if the peace is not returned to you, dust the feet off. That was it. They hadn't even started talking about God yet. It was just, hey, peace. And they're like, oh, I'm done. So here's my test. Go to a street preacher and say peace and see what he says back to you. If it's turn to God or go to hell, you're like, oh, that's not peace. I'm off. And if they shared peace, that was it. That was the prerequisite for talking to people, is if they were sharing peace with you. Basically, if they're willing to talk to you, is another way of putting that. And that was it. No prerequisite with God. There was another one with the woman of the well. There's this woman who's standing by a well. Jesus goes up and starts talking to her. Now he ends up knowing, because God shares this, he knows this, right? So he shares with this woman, she's got 5 husbands. But he does it without any judgment and total acceptance and total love. And you know what? She's immediately seeing his light and his love, like, yes, I know that's not right. He didn't have to do anything. He didn't have to press anything. He didn't, you know what? Because I found something about people. They know when they're doing wrong. That's not the problem. The problem is, like Lori shared in her story, they think they deserve wrong. They think they deserve pain. They think they deserve hurt. They think they deserve to be lost. They think that's where they belong. The problem isn't that they don't know what's right. The problem is they don't know how loved they are and how worth they are, so that they would do things that shows that how worth they are. Because here's the thing, everything that you want to invest in the future, whether it's finances, your life, your heart, it takes doing work now and getting dividends later. An investment, money, things, what time, whatever, now, and then later you reap. But wasting your life away takes pleasure now. And if you think your life is worthless, you're going to do that choice. Because why would you invest in yourself if you're not worth anything? And that's where most people are at. But here Jesus has this guy, Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is a tax collector. When people thought about tax collectors, Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is another. Zacchaeus. Words. The point is, Zacchaeus is a tax collector. And Zacchaeus was liked about as much as we like tax collectors. There's no tax collectors here, right? If there was, they got to cross you now. No, I'm just kidding. That's not cool. But, yeah, I look like a tax collector right now. Yeah, that's right. Zacchaeus was super rich. Oh, falling apart here. Zacchaeus was super rich and a tax collector. And people didn't like him because they knew where his wealth came from, their pocketbooks. Now, whether you like tax collectors or not, or whether you agree with the way most people think of tax collectors or not, in this culture, the Jewish people had a real problem with tax collectors because they thought not only are they stealing money from us, but they're betraying our country because we're supposed to be Jewish. We shouldn't be captive to anyone. Rome is not our friend. And he's going to see Jesus. And he comes up and he climbs on a tree because he's so short. This rich guy climbing on a tree. I would like to see some rich people in this community that I know, like climbing up on that tree to like look at Jesus. I mean, I know a few that would do it, but most of them I don't think would. I think that they'd be like, no, people are going to see me and I look really stupid and I don't know if I'm going to do that. But not Zacchaeus. He really wants to know Jesus. He really wants to see Jesus. So he climbs up on this tree. And there Jesus comes up to him. Now he's just hoping for a glimpse. That's what it says. It's like a parade. And they're saying, oh, you can't see him here, so he's going to climb up the tree. But Jesus comes up and he says, you, Zacchaeus, I must stay with you tonight. I'm going to go to your house. We're going to have a party. We're going to have a great time. Let's do this thing. And immediately, some people grumble, and Zacchaeus changed his whole life. That's it. That's all it took. All it took was for Jesus to say, I want you. And immediately Zacchaeus is like, I'm not worthy. But if you want me, I'm turning my life around. I'm going to do everything I can till I deserve your love. I'm selling half my possessions. I'm giving it to the poor. I'm going to, everyone that I'm going to repay. I mean, he didn't take 3 ghosts like Scrooge did. Just one Jesus. Just one invitation to dinner. That was all it took. And I'm telling you, there are people out there in the community that feel so alone, that feel so lost, that feel so broken that that's all it takes. One invitation to one dinner and say, I want you at my house. And if you want to be bold about anything as a Christian, be bold about that. I shared this before, but it just fits so well. And I think you just went in the bathroom, so it's a great time to talk about it. How it happened with Andre. I'm not good, again, with social interactions when I first meet people. With Andre, he just sang Beyonce at karaoke. And I went up to him and I said, that's the best male Beyonce I've ever heard. You and I must be friends now. And he looked at me. What is this white guy talking about, right? Like, there's this moment that he was like, I don't know about this. And then he goes, okay. And that was it. And we've been friends ever since. That's what it took. If you're going to be bold about anything, be bold about loving people. Be bold about going out and saying, I want to know you. You and I are going to hang out. You sure? Yep. You and I are going to hang out. Might be a little socially awkward. That's the best I've got. Maybe you've got better. Okay, that's fine. But go out and be bold about how much you love people. And just say, I want to know you. I want to hang out. You can use those words if you can't think of any better words. I'm sure there are better words, but if I don't think of any better words, I just say that. And some people do look at me weird. But some people go, can I tell you my life story? Some people say, I want to be where you are. I'm not going to go into details because she is someone who comes here and is part of our community. But there was one person that I met at a bar. I don't think I shared more than 5 words, but I did give them my card. And I did tell them if they ever need anything, they could call me. And a few weeks later, I got a call at like 3 a.m. Actually, I got a text, and it said, can I call you? Absolutely. And they started to share what they were going through. And they said, I don't know anyone else who would listen. I don't go to church. I don't have a pastor. I don't have a friend. Right now, my best friend just betrayed me. And again, I'm not going to go into details, but it's one of those things that you never expect that is a death blow for many people. And you know what? Guess how many brilliant words I shared in that phone call? I had some words. Just guess how many were brilliant. 0. Goose egg. It was 3 a.m. My brain was shot, and I wasn't thinking at all. But I was willing to listen. I had 2 ears. And I just sat there and I said, what's going on? And I just listened. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. Which, by the way, is a great thing to say when you don't know what to say. This is gems I'm giving you. I don't know why you guys aren't writing this down. Nobody takes notes here? Come on. It's a great thing to say. I don't know what to say. I can't imagine. I'm here for you. You're not alone. I'll be here for you in the long haul. You need to call me tomorrow. I'm there. You need to call me the next day. I'm there. You need to call me every single morning because you don't have the strength to get up and you're laying in your bed thinking, I don't know if I want to go on. You call me, I will pick up the phone, and until you're up, we'll stay on the phone. If that's what you need. And that offer goes for everyone here, by the way. And I hope everyone here would be willing to make that offer to someone else here. Because we have an amazing worship team. But that worship can only do so much. And we have an okay pastor here. Sometimes. This morning, I was in that pessimistic mindset. I'm like, this sermon is going to be horrible. Because I get there all the time. I'm still a pessimist. I want to be the optimist that Jimmy Stewart is, but I'm not there. And I was just thinking, like, this is going to be bad. and everything that everyone's going to be like, I'm never coming back again. This pastor really doesn't know how to preach. People wear weird costumes. So that's where I was this morning. I was Eeyore. I was walking around. Okay. And so I'm going, but here's the thing. I have gotten better. Because before I would have just stayed there, and now I think, I consider myself now a optimistic pessimist. I'm still a pessimist. I still think everything is going to go wrong. I just now am better at seeing the silver lining to how wrong it is. And so where I was is like, you know what? But that's okay. Because if I do a really bad job in my sermon, the worship team is still going to be great because I have nothing to do with that. And we're still going to have a community that loves each other, and I have nothing to do with that. And you know what? That's the most valuable thing outside of God, which is of course the most valuable thing. But outside of God, that's the most valuable thing we have here. Someone recently said to me that the moment they walked into our doors, they felt like family. One person can't do that. Only a group of people coming together can do that. But that's what she said. I was like, that is the best compliment I've ever heard. That she walked in the doors and immediately felt like family. That showed me that our church is on the right track. Because that's what it's all about. Jesus understood that. Now think about this for a second. Who is wiser than Jesus? Okay, think about it for a few minutes. It takes that long. Anybody? No, not really. The Father, okay, but Jesus does what the Father says. That sounds pretty smart to me. Jesus is the wisest. So if you imagine what Jesus could say if you talk to him, he could tell you a lot, right? Yet even Jesus listens. The one gift that I've developed more than any other, and I'm not trying to brag about myself, it's not me, but the one gift that I have, and I know that I have, and I thank God and my mom, because she pointed me in that direction, for getting this gift, is knowing how to love people. And authentically loving people. Authentically loving people, even when they tell me all of the horrible things that they've done, I can still love people because of God's grace. And because I've done that. I've done that for so long that it's natural for me now. It wasn't at first. And if you're at this point where you're listening and you're thinking, but I don't like people, that's okay. I mean, it's not okay. But if that's where you're at, we still love you. There's no prerequisite, so you can still be here. But you need a heart change. And so before you do anything else, I want you to pray for God to change your heart. And I'm going to give you an exercise. If you're this person, you don't have to confess. You don't have to tell anybody. You can tell me in private if you want. I'll still love you even if you don't like me. Or anyone for that matter. But I want you to make a vow of silence. Not a vow of complete silence and you don't go say any words. That would be awkward. But a vow of silence from giving your opinion. Not just on God, but on anything. Take a vow of silence. You no longer... Andre, don't give your opinion on this. Well, hopefully you like people. Then you don't have to do this. It would be hard for me too. But take a vow of silence, because if you don't care about people, you haven't figured out the first thing about God. And if you haven't figured out the first thing about God, there's not much you get about life. Because God is the center of life. And love is the center of who God is. So I'm giving you a challenge. If you find yourself in that place where you don't like people, go out, talk to people, don't share your opinions. Not just about God, not about politics either. Which that would maybe be good for our society in general, even for people that like people, just not saying things about politics for a little while. But listen to people. Hear their story. Find out why they are the way they are and why their perspective is. And you will find that you'll change forever. And your heart will start changing too. Because when you figure out what people are, who people really are, you can't help but fall in love with them. If you're in that place where you do like people, but you just don't think you're good enough, smart enough, or skilled enough to do it, there's no better time than now to be bold about loving people. And God will give you the grace. God will help you. God will figure it out. And you'll never be good enough. You know why? Because you're not supposed to be. I don't have to go and be good enough to change that person's life in the bar who just shared with me their life story and everything wrong in their life. They're not asking me to. Gosh, I can be such a guy sometimes. I don't know, I'm going to fix all those things. No, that's not why they shared it with me. And I don't have to go and fix everything that person, there's no way I could fix the things that she shared with me. I could pray for her, which I did, but I can't fix it because I'm not God. But I've got good news. I know Him. And He wants a relationship with everyone who's willing. I don't know Zacchaeus' heart, but I think a huge part of why Jesus was like, I must be at your house, you and me, didn't have anything to do with his wealth and didn't have anything to do with how much people disliked him or being a really bad guy, being a sinner, being broken. I don't think it had anything to do with any of those things. You know what I think it had to do with? The fact that he was in a tree. Nobody else was in a tree. He was the only one in a tree, and he was the only one that Jesus wanted to hang out with that day. And I think that might have something to do with it. Because I think that might have expressed to Jesus, this guy really wants to talk to me. This guy really wants to see me. And the good news is, there's no prerequisite for God. If you just want to see Him, if you want to hear Him, if you want to be with Him, then here's what I'm telling you. You run after Him with what is described in one verse in the Bible as shameless audacity. That you should ask from God with shameless audacity. That's what Jesus says. With shameless audacity. Whether you're dressed in fine three-piece suits, or t-shirts and shorts, or just your birthday suit, you run after Him with shameless audacity and say, I want you, and guess what? He won't reject you because there's no prerequisite for God, and He wants to know you. And if you know God already, then He wants to send you out on mission with others to let them know this good news. And you can be bold. If you like being bold, if you like saying God with a fancy accent, God, that's all right, you can do that, but talk about God loves you, and God wants to know you, and God is here to listen. What's going on? How can I help? Tell me your pain. I love you. I don't have the answers, but God does. And I'll hear and I'll be here with you until you're better. Just stand there and watch. One more story and then we'll close. I was in high school. And there was this guy that I used to break dance with. I used to break dance. Some of you might have seen on Facebook. But I break dance with this guy. And that's it. We never talked. But, we've said, hey, want to dance? And he said, yes. That was our conversation up to this point. But we were in high school together. And his mom died of cancer. He was like 16, 17 years old. And it was in the middle of the school day when she passed. And the school said that they were willing to have him have 2 people that he could call out of school to spend time with him. He picked his girlfriend and me. Now, I'm sure he had better friends at the time. I don't know why he picked me. I actually do, because it came later. But at the time, I'm thinking, uh-oh. I'm heading there, never been to his house, but I'm heading there thinking, what do I say? I'm 17 years old. What do I have to give this guy? I'm thinking, like, if my mom died, what would I want to hear? Which is nothing. I wouldn't have asked for anyone. I wouldn't want to be alone. But so I don't relate, I don't understand, and I get there, and I'm sitting there, and it's so awkward because I don't really know him that well. We end up becoming good friends later, but I didn't know him that well at the time. And his girlfriend's there, she knows him, and they're like hugging and stuff, and I'm like, should I just do what she does? And they're like, no, they're kissing right now. Probably shouldn't do that. Okay, what do I do? And finally, I just, out of like complete anxiety and about to have a panic attack because my heart is beating, and I'm thinking this is not about me, but I have no idea how to help. I just said finally, I don't know what to do. No, that's not what happened. I forgot. What I actually did was I made a joke. In my anxiety, I made a joke. I don't remember the joke, but I made some stupid joke, and then I thought, oh my gosh, you blew it. You're joking with this guy who just lost his mom. And I'm like thinking, I'm so sorry I said that. I'm so sorry, I just didn't know what to say. I apologize. And he said, no, Richard, that's okay. That's why I wanted you here. Because you can make me laugh. And I just needed someone to be with me who can make me laugh and smile. And then I was like, okay. I've got this. Let's do this. I mean, there were good jokes, there were cheesy jokes, but I just threw out anything that I could do. And we just hung out. We cried sometimes, we laughed sometimes. There was zero beautiful, wise words that he remembers to this day, but he remembers that I was there for him. He remembers that he wasn't alone. And that's all you need. You've got two hands, hold somebody with them. You've got 2 ears, listen to somebody with them. You got 2 feet, go to someone who needs you, and already you are more than equipped to do what Jesus did with Zacchaeus and change a life. That's all he did. But it was enough for Zacchaeus because he hadn't been loved. And if you haven't been loved, Jesus is seeing you out in that tree. And he's saying, you're coming to my house because I love you. And nobody has to go alone. I want you. It's not even a question. Jesus didn't say, can I come to your house? Jesus said, I must be at your house today. Let's pray.